This AskReddit user asks, when you think about the good old days, what comes to mind? Answering the phone by saying, hello. Last name. Residence. Good parents taught us that. SNCC taught me that. I don't remember SNCC. But I'm old lol. Serotonin. Doing some of my best sprinting chasing down the ice cream man. Pepperidge Farm. Isn't that a bread co? Between 8 and 13 were some of the most painful but also the most magical years I can recall. I was very determined to be positive and have fun as a kid, so I guess as things got progressively worse I just threw myself body and soul into the best distractions I could think up. That coupled with my brain repressing a host of bad memories. I remember those years quite fondly. GoldenEye tournaments in the summer with my friends. Playing hide and seek and wiffle ball and swimming all day. Building tree forts in the woods in our neighborhood. I'm down for some GoldenEye tournaments right now. With off-brand soda and candy we pile together. Before social media. That's the way the sickness spread. This is exactly how it feels. I wonder how things would have gone without it. 1491. Midnight. October 29, 1929. I hear 1929 was a really good year. Especially for investors. So specific. Encased in mystery. I want to know more. Quick Google search will answer that for you. Minecraft coming home from a easy day at primary school and chilling. Listening to the Farm Report. Waiting for Saturday morning cartoons to come on. While my grandpa cooked pancakes. Also. We're stupid and contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us. Quote. In my head I just see a wholesome family in like the 1950s at a diner eating burgers and drinking milkshakes while listening to some Elvis off the jukebox. It's strange how vivid the image is. I see my vision as different than everyone's significant memories in their lives. I guess I just don't have any memories old enough in my mind to be considered good old days. I think that's okay. I don't really have any good old days memories either. Just ones that I look upon fondly. Even if they weren't perfect and there was some messed up stuff going on in the meanwhile. Instead I found them being mentioned often in my mind. Like, I wish it were still as simple as so-and-so days. Even if they weren't as simple as they should have been. IDK. I feel like I'm not clearly stating what I'm trying to say, but right now I'm not sure how else to expound upon it. Pre-COVID. Valdivia. When my family was whole. Before my sister died. Life was so blissfully perfect. I'm very sorry for your loss. I hope you and your family are doing okay. Thank you so much. We are as close as ever. And hold each other up when needed. Life is still beautiful. It's just tinged with grief. But sometimes that's beautiful too. Because grief looks just like her face. Ignorance and a superiority complex that hadn't started to deflate yet. They were dark times looking back. But it gives me an excellent understanding of ignorance as bliss. I'm still a work in progress. Exactly. Great answer. The good old days are whatever period of time was historically best for whatever groups the speaker belongs to, the elegance of Southern belles. The family togetherness of the 50s. The valor of the conquistadors. AKA success for the upper echelons of society built upon the backs of everyone else. But yeah, the plantation owner had a lovely time. All the times I spent with my friends in high school doing stupid st. Playing in leaf piles as a kid with my siblings. I remember jumping in leaf piles and running around with my classmates on the last day of school. Thinking about those days makes me smile. Honestly, pre-internet. I love most of the things the internet has made accessible. But it feels like an umbilical cord at times. It can be exhausting being constantly lambasted by news, advertising and other viral pieces of information. Playing Minecraft with my brother and this random guy on a cracked factions server and building this awesome jungle treehouse base. Coming home and eating dinner at the table with family while talking about the day. My family did that. I loved it. My family would fight a lot and my parents would often not know what's appropriate, but dinner was when we came together. We talked about our days, and because of it we always knew what was going on, at least on a superficial level, in each other's lives. I had a friend whose family would not really eat together, but they met around the TV, kind of coming and going as they wished. As a teenager I liked it. Her family was kind that didn't really have any nasty fights like mine did. I would ask her parents for advice on more grown-up stuff. They still are much more of a happy family than my family ever was. When my friend told me she loved dinner at my house, I was surprised and happy. It's like the one thing my family got right. San Francisco in the 80s. When I was fresh out of college. There were so many scenes to get into with such a low price of admission that you couldn't help being cool on some level. SF's always at its most beautiful when it isn't trying to be. And it really wasn't in those days. I remember my friends and I hanging out at someone's house playing video games and eating junk food. Staying up all night laughing, playing, and having fun. I remember getting up to mischief, playing pretend, and hanging out around the campfire. Then I remember that my current friends and I do all that stuff now. Only this time there's alcohol and/or 420 involved. And we don't need to ask permission. We eat whatever we want. No tells us to keep it down. And we don't have the added stress of homework assignments. Honestly, the good old days don't hold a candle to the good new days. Coming home from school, watching Smosh and PewDiePie, watching the Fred movies. For some reason fans hit different back then, and I used to play Minecraft Sky Wars or Spleg. No YouTube censorship back then. Or ads. When fast food used to be cooked in that unhealthy oil that made everything taste delicious. I get why they changed it, but I miss old school. Fatty fast food. This would be my boyfriend's answer. Lol. MySpace days. Kids out on bicycles all day. Then swinging home to play cricket in the street. Negotiating with parents through dusk. It isn't dark yet. I can still see. Single quote. That song by 21 Pilots. Great. No, you got the song stuck in my head. Stressed out, I believe you are thinking of. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days. Before you've actually left them. Andy Bernard. Someone should write a song about that. Beautiful. I think I'm in mine now. Temporarily laid off during COVID. I won't be getting to retire, so this is my long beautiful summer vacation. Deep snow. More trees. Less people. In the last 30 years the population of my city has roughly doubled. I was born in '74. The 90s were my favorite. My good old days were when bands like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana were mainstream. Just before 9/11. I was the stoner, skater kid growing up. The world was different then. You didn't know what was happening outside of your little powwow. The internet happened in '92 to '93 and everything slowly changed after that. Do you think your life would be better if you eliminated as much social media and technology as you could from your free time, or do you think it has become so integrated that eliminating it would be a disadvantage? I denounced Facebook many years ago. I used Twitter only for news and updates. I never signed up for IG or Snapchat or any of the other sites. Reddit is my all-time favorite social media and I'll never quit it. Too much of a disadvantage there. Edit. Just for context, check my cake day. I came to Reddit full force when dig.com died. Game Boy and PS2. Doing acid on the beach and at raves with my husband when we were in college. One of my most cherished memories from those days was when we were tripping and I decided to go for a dip in the ocean and left my glasses on the beach. Well, I'm really blind, and when I got out I couldn't find my glasses anywhere. I started crying because acid makes you way more attuned to how beautiful the world is and colors are way more vivid. He asked, "Why are you crying?" I replied, "The world is so beautiful today and I can't see it." Then he said, "If you can't see, then I'll close my eyes too." That made me stop crying. I've never felt more loved than at that moment. We later found my glasses. Anywho, like 3 years ago he brings me back to the beach next to our old university and proposed to me on the same spot I lost my glasses. We have a 2-year-old together now, so right now is also our good old days. Actually, I think any of the days we spend together we'll look back on and think of them as our good old days. I'm living the good old days right now. That's a beautiful story. Thanks, it's definitely top 3 for fave memories. I'm so happy that you found that. I just found it. I wish I was fresh out of college when we crossed paths. But I'm super happy regardless. So good to feel that way about another person and have it reciprocated. In the womb was great. Every day was like a day at the pool. And I never worried about what I was gonna eat that day. I think about being a kid. Having school schedules and meals prepared for me. Simpler times. But then I remember that the food was meh and that classes and homework were a pain. No real freedom either. The good old days never really existed. Some times were slightly better than others, but good and bad things happen at every point in time. Hindsight is 20/20, and it also tends to be rose-colored. Crushes during school were dope too. Real innocent st. I'm still not over. I remember my friends. On recalling childhood. No trouble. No stress. Life was so very good. Nobody cared about politics and you were still allowed to make jokes without people crying about how much it offends them. So. 2010. It was 1979. Jimmy Carter was in the White House. I'd st myself and someone would clean it up. 2007-2008 personally for me. Even though on the outside it may seem really bad. It was really the only time I was at my happiest, which is sad because I was 4. Why were you at your happiest when you were 4? Still waiting for them. My younger siblings asleep. Playing Oblivion on my Xbox 360. Stealing stuff and getting mad when the fence didn't have enough gold or I died. That ended when my Xbox died. RIP. So sweet. I miss playing video games with my siblings as well. But my brother would always get mad and throw the controller, breaking it, or throw the table. Our N64 or original Xbox or PS1, GameCube or PS2 was on, breaking them as well. It was a hard life not knowing when I wouldn't be able to play my favorite games again. Anything before 2020. Remember not knowing what COVID-19 was. Those were the good old days. Tamagotchis. An app without ads. Friends who won't look at you differently when you tell them your secrets. Not worrying about your body. When the only thing you worry about is finishing the homework as it's being handed in. Yeah. Blockbuster. Like going there on a Friday night to select a movie or a video game you could try out for the weekend. Such a social event to go get movies. I miss that. MIEHA. And all that kind of things. Unfolding the paper map at the end of a hike. Working out how far I'd walked by measuring my route with a piece of string following my track on the map and then measuring the length of string against the scale bar on the map. Local Coop video game overnighters. Yes. Why does Coop have to be so difficult nowadays? Edit. I mean difficult to find. Golden eye parties in the basement, drinking Surge and eating Doritos. I mean, I'm not quite 30. But I remember being a kid in a pre-9/11 world. Being a relatively extroverted kid with a lot of confidence. Not overconfident though, don't worry. And having a lot of optimism when it comes to my future. Now I'm an anxiety-ridden Introverted kid with hopes and dreams that I feel I will never even come close to achieving. It's going to be okay. From one anxious person to another. It's okay. You get used to dropping your hopes and dreams. That's life. You find something small and achievable. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.